He really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to do it my best. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Aaron Ashmore.
Hello.
It's such a long walk.
It is.
I've got to move the stage closer to the door.
How's it going, guys? Yes, good rainy Saturday to be at a con.
Well, it just means that you're the sunshine of our day.
Wow. That might be the nicest thing that anybody said to me in a very long time. Keep them coming.
I'm a honey dripper.
Keep them, yes, you are.
So, you just mentioned that you had to do shopping for your kid.
Well, I don't have to, but I like to. I like to kind of go around, and she's really big into My Little Pony stuff right now, so... What was that?
No, I've been there myself. I've been there.
So whenever I bring them home little things, they're very appreciative. So I think I might do a little tour and see if I can find anything for them today. Maybe something for myself too. There's always that too, where you might find something for yourself. Not My Little Pony.
I was just going to ask. Although Discord's an awesome character, right?
I consider myself a brony, sort of, because I do actually enjoy the show. So.
Well, okay, so you've been in so many science fiction, comic-oriented roles. I gotta ask about the background. Where did all that come from? Like, let's go back into the childhood.
Oh, but how far back?
Should I get a couch and some note paper?
It was October 7th, 1979. A young Sean and Aaron Ashmore were born. Sorry, I made you sign that. That's a funny thing to... Appreciate you, by the way.
Let's give it up for the interpreter.
Yeah, there you go. I started reading comic books probably like most kids, just something that you did, and there was a local comic book store very close to where I lived, so I started frequenting that, and yeah, just really, really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that was coming out. I grew up in the 90s, or when I was sort of collecting, and there was all sorts of great stuff, and I didn't continue to collect sort of after high school much, but that was sort of when all the, sort of Marvel film, like, X-Men stuff started, sort of. Obviously my brother was in that stuff, so it was like a interesting transition from reading comic books to, now the movies are starting coming out and all that. So, and I was also always into fantasy type stuff. My mom, when I was very young, read, the Chronicles of Narnia and all that stuff. So just that type of, fantasy genre stuff was always sort of kicking around in our house.
So did that influence the roles that you looked for in your career? Not
looked for, no. I think that I was happy to be playing those roles, but it's not like I was like, well, I don't want to do straight drama, I just want to do genre stuff. I think as my career was sort of growing, that was what was becoming very popular. So I just sort of happened to, and once you're in, sort of the sci-fi genre world, I think obviously, there's a lot of actors that kind of have careers from that, because it's sort of, the fan base is very loyal, so they sort of follow you around to the different shows, which I'm sure that happens outside of genre work, but I think specifically it does. So I think, you just kind of roll into the next one.
So obviously relationships in that, building a career in those genres is very important. Who have been some of the relationships that have been influential or instrumental?
Well, I mean, I don't know, as far as, I've been very, very lucky in my career. Most of the people that I have worked with have been amazing. Especially, starting at Smallville, that whole cast and creative team was awesome. And then from there, I went to Warehouse 13 and worked with some really special actors. I don't know if you guys have watched that show or if you guys know any of those guys, but they're...
I think we're familiar with Warehouse 13.
Yeah, a really great group of people, and also the creative side, like they were just so fun to work with. And then on to KILLJOYS, same thing, like great group of people, and I became really great friends with Luke and Hannah, my co-stars, and then on to now I'm doing Locke and Kiefer. Yeah, it's really great. So all these things have been sort of a progression of working sci-fi and that, and just all those people that I've met along the way, and it's amazing how you like sort of cross paths with people again, or people are friends of friends, writers from different shows are friends, and they're like, oh, so-and-so said some nice things about you, and we're really happy to have you on this show. So even behind the scenes, there's a lot of, people that are working in the genre. So there's always relationships like that just kind of build on each other.
And we just had Laura DeBoer on the panel before.
Yeah, yeah, and I've worked with Laura years ago on a movie called Prom Queen. She had a small part and I was in that, and then we did Smallville together, which was great fun, and we haven't worked together since then, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Paths will intersect.
Yes, yeah, they do.
So when you got the role of Jimmy Olsen, did you reach back into the history of that character? I mean, that's one of those touchstone characters in comics history that's, it's integral. So how did that feel when you landed that role?
Well, it was amazing, and I felt very lucky. Also, I felt lucky to get the role because my brother had played a bad guy on Smallville. It was like pretty prominent. He stole Clark's powers, so I almost didn't audition for the role because I was like, my twin brother's been on the show. I highly doubt that they're going to hire me, but it was such a great role, and I was like, well, who knows? Like, let me just, maybe they'll like what I do and they'll cast me as something different. So when I got on set, I said to the writers and the director, wouldn't it be funny if when Clark and Jimmy meet, Clark says something like, have we met? Do I know you? And then it's like, no, I don't think we have met. Just a nod to that, and they didn't think that was funny at all. They're like, no. And I was like, you guys realize you hired twin brothers on the same show. Okay, anyways. Sorry, I'm rambling and I can't even remember what the heck I was talking about.
We're talking about Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, Jimmy Olsen, thank you, yes. Yeah, and it was very it's an iconic role. It's not the hero, but as far as like sidekicks or best buds go in the superhero franchise, it's kind of, one of those things. So I definitely had a lot of, just pop culture reference. I'd seen the movies and I'd read some comic books, but they'd also told me that, with Smallville, they're always, the characters are going to be very similar to the comic books, but also there's always going to be a bit of a creative interpretation that they're going to do. So don't, totally read into the past. They're going to modernize certain things. So, you play the scripts, and I did know the characters. I knew everything, the Superman franchise and all that from the comic books and the movies. So yeah, it was an easy role to step in because in that sense, because I sort of knew about Jimmy Olsen. But also, there's a little bit of pressure there to. There's been people before you that have played the role, and there will be many people after you that will play the role, and, so don't F it up. Nobody said that to me, except